Have you ever noticed that your own thoughts might be sabotaging your life? 90% of what you think today is the same as what you thought yesterday, which means, without realizing it, you might be stuck in a cycle that's limiting your potential. But what if I told you that in just 3 days, you could rewire your brain? This isn't magic, it's neuroscience. The way you speak to yourself shapes who you become. And if your self-talk has been negative, it's been holding you back, shaping your reality in ways you don't even realize. But there's a simple, proven method to break free from this. 3 days, a new mind, a new destiny. Stay until the end and discover how to change your life forever. Your self-image shapes your reality. The way you see yourself isn't just a reflection of your past. It's a script that dictates your future. That constant inner dialogue, your self-talk, shapes your beliefs, emotions, and ultimately, your daily decisions. If someone sees themselves as incapable, their mind will constantly seek proof of that limitation in every situation. Meanwhile, someone who perceives themselves as resilient will find solutions where others only see obstacles. Neuroscience explains that every repeated thought strengthens neural connections, turning self-perception into a self-fulfilling prophecy. This means that every word you say to yourself is a direct command to your brain and body. When someone says, "I'm just not good with numbers," their brain takes it as an instruction and behaves accordingly, reinforcing that belief. But if that self-talk shifts to, "I'm improving my skills with numbers," the mind starts adapting to this new reality. Research on neuroplasticity has shown that with repetition and emotion, new neural pathways are formed, changing not only perception, but also the actual ability to act differently. If you have any doubts about this, just look at successful people. They don't just work hard, they speak to themselves in a way that reinforces their convictions. Elon Musk doesn't say, "This is impossible." He asks, "How can I make this work?" That small shift in self-talk opens doors to possibilities most people never even consider. Transformation begins with the way you define yourself to yourself, and that's the first step in rewiring your mind. But what if you could accelerate this shift in just 3 days? Reprogram your brain in 3 days. The human mind runs on autopilot, repeating thoughts and behaviors as if trapped in an endless loop. Studies show that around 90% of today's thoughts are the same as yesterday's. This means that if someone constantly sees themselves as limited, insecure, or incapable, they will keep reinforcing that version of themselves day after day. But here's the good news. The brain is malleable and can be reprogrammed. Just 3 days of intentional self-talk are enough to interrupt this cycle and set in motion new neural pathways, where transformation isn't just possible, but inevitable. To rewire the mind, you must change what you repeatedly tell yourself. Every time a negative thought arises, "I can't do this. This is too hard. I'm not good enough." It needs to be replaced with a more empowering and assertive statement. "I am capable. I learn easily. I am improving. Every day." It sounds simple, but this shift activates new neural connections. Neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reshape itself based on the stimuli it receives. Reprogramming starts with words, but is strengthened through emotion and repetition. But how can you make this process truly effective? One powerful method is using physical and mental triggers. Writing down affirmations and reading them out loud each morning, setting alarms with positive messages throughout the day, or even using a physical reminder, like a ring or bracelet, to prompt a shift in internal dialogue. Small, consistent habits create a domino effect in the brain. And when this practice is maintained for just 3 consecutive days, the first signs of change start to become visible. But what does science really say about this transformation? The science of personal transformation. Your brain doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. This means that when you visualize success, feel strong emotions, and speak to yourself in a positive way, your brain responds as if it's already happening. Neuroscience backs this up. Olympic athletes use mental training to sharpen their skills before even performing physically. In other words, self-talk doesn't just reflect reality, it creates it, shaping thoughts, emotions, and even the body's chemistry. Every thought triggers a biochemical response. When you constantly criticize yourself, your brain releases cortisol and adrenaline, stress hormones that negatively impact both mind and body. On the other hand, when you repeat empowering statements like, "I am strong, I am intelligent, I can overcome any challenge," your brain boosts dopamine and serotonin production. These chemicals elevate your mood, increase motivation, and even strengthen your immune system. Changing the way you speak to yourself isn't just a psychological shift. It's a physiological one. This transformation can be accelerated through a simple ritual, guided visualization, and intentional self-talk. For a few minutes after waking up and before sleeping, close your eyes and mentally see the person you want to become. Feel that version of yourself and say out loud affirmations that align with this new identity. With consistency, this practice rewires your brain, creating neural circuits that reinforce your transformation. But what if there were specific times of the day when this technique became even more powerful? The importance of a mental routine. Your brain operates in cycles, and there are specific moments in the day when it's most receptive to mental reprogramming. Right after waking up, when you're still in that state between sleep and full alertness, your mind is highly suggestible. This is the perfect time to direct your self-talk with phrases like, "Today, I choose to grow. My thoughts create my reality, and I am capable of achieving everything I desire." Saying these words out loud, while truly feeling their truth, strengthens neural circuits and sets the tone for a day filled with high vibrational energy. In the afternoon, between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m., the brain enters another state of heightened plasticity. This is the best time to reinforce the morning messages through movement. Walking while repeating affirmations, adopting power postures, or even using music to amplify your energy helps solidify your transformation. Studies show that when mental reprogramming is combined with physical activity, the assimilation of new beliefs becomes even more effective. Here, physical energy strengthens mental energy. Nighttime is when neural consolidation happens. Before sleep, your mind processes everything experienced throughout the day, storing the most relevant information. This is the prime time to reflect on positive thoughts, acknowledge small wins, and reinforce the identity you're building. Placing your hand over your heart, taking deep breaths, and softly affirming, "Today, I moved forward. Tomorrow, I will grow even more," conditions your brain to continue the transformation while you sleep. But what happens when this practice becomes an unbreakable habit? The power of energy and consistency. Thoughts aren't just abstract ideas. They carry energy and frequency that directly influence reality. Have you ever walked into a room full of negativity and instantly felt its weight? Or been around highly motivated people and felt your energy rise? This happens because every thought generates an electromagnetic field that can either attract or repel experiences. When you maintain empowering self-talk, you're not just rewiring your brain, you're also shifting the vibration of your energetic field, making yourself a magnet for new opportunities. Consistency is what separates those who truly transform their lives from those who merely wish for change. The brain doesn't rewire itself with one positive thought. It needs intentional repetition. Just like a muscle that requires continuous training to grow, the mind demands constant practice to reinforce new patterns. If every single day you tell yourself, "I am intelligent and resilient," at first, it might feel unnatural. But after a few weeks, this phrase becomes part of your identity. It's a gradual process, but one that cannot be skipped. What you consistently think becomes your inner truth, and ultimately, your external reality. So the real question is, who do you want to become? Your brain is always listening and responding to the energy of the words you feed it. If you constantly reinforce limiting beliefs, you're programming your mind for a predictable, stagnant future. But if you choose, with conviction, to shift that frequency, your reality will begin to reshape itself to match this new identity. Now you know that the way you speak to yourself shapes your reality. Your self-talk can either be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. The power of transformation is in your hands. So the question is, will you keep programming yourself to repeat the same patterns, or will you take control and rewire your mind in just 3 days? Your new life begins with a choice. Drop a comment and share how you're planning to shift your self-talk. Let's build this transformation together.